Hello, I'm Miss MJ with the Marathon County Public Library at our Stratford branch, and today we're going to be reading a very exciting adventure story about The Littlest Matryoshka Doll, and that is a book by Corinne Dimas Bliss and pictures by Catherine Brown, and it is about a wooden doll that has a secret, and if you look closely, I'll show you what the secret is. If you twist it and pull, inside is another doll. And if you twist that doll and pull, inside is another doll. 1, 2, 3 dolls now. Let's try that again. We're going to twist and pull. Oh, yes, there's another one hiding inside. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 dolls. Let's try that one more time. Think there's one more in there? Let's twist. Oh, there is one more doll. And that is the littlest Matryoshka doll. So let's take a look at that. Let's count them again together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one would be called the biggest Matryoshka doll. And then we have a littler one, and a littler one, and a littler one, and then the littlest Matryoshka doll. And this is the story we're going to read about today. Are you ready? All right, let's read it. In a small shop in a snowy village in Russia, Nikolai the doll maker was carving his last Matryoshka. From one piece of soft wood, he shaped 6 nesting dolls, each one fitting inside the other. They all opened in the middle and were hollow inside, except for the littlest. She was the size of a bumblebee, and she was made of the heart of the sweet-smelling wood. Nikolai painted each doll's black shining hair and black shining eyes. He painted each doll's red dress and yellow shawl. He painted a fancy flower on the front of each doll's white apron and a smile on each doll's face. You are 6 sisters, he said, as he set them along the workbench in a line, from biggest to littlest, and he named each one, touching his finger to the top of her head. Anna, Olga, Varka, Vanda, Nadia, and Nina. Then he tucked them one inside the other. He put Nina inside Nadia, and Nadia inside Vanda, and Vanda inside Varka, and Varka inside Olga, and Olga inside Anna. Anna had a pedestal base, so she could not fit inside any other doll. She had the fanciest flower on the front of her apron and the wisest look in her eyes. "Goodbye, Anna," said Nikolai, and he kissed her forehead. "Keep your sisters safe inside you, and may you find a happy home." Then he sent the Matryoshka off to a toy shop in America. On a long journey across the sea, Nina slept inside Nadia, and Nadia slept inside Vanda, and Vanda slept inside Varka, and Varka slept inside Olga, and Olga slept inside Anna. Anna kept her shining eyes wide open. She only saw darkness until she was unpacked from her box at a toy shop in America. There were other Matryoshkas on the shelf by the front door. Some were bigger and some were smaller. Anna could only guess how many sisters they each held inside. Other Matryoshka makers carved 4 or 8 or even 10 dolls, each inside the other. But Nikolai always carved 6, for 6, he believed, was a lucky number. The toy shop owner opened up Anna and set her and all her sisters in a line from biggest to littlest along the front of the display. Nina, the littlest, was on the very end of the shelf, too close to the edge. One March day, the very end of winter, a shopper in a puffy coat brushed against the shelf, and Nina was knocked right off. No one noticed except for Nina's sister, but there was nothing they could do. They could not lift their painted arms to reach out for Nina or open their painted lips to cry for help. Nina rolled to the doorway of the shop, and then, in the bustle, she was kicked outside by a customer as he left. It had begun snowing, and soon Nina was covered up by snow. In the morning, the shopkeeper shoveled the sidewalk in front of the toy shop. Nina was shoveled right out to the street. Later that day, the snowplow came and pushed all the snow into a pile. The pile was shoveled up into a dump truck. Nina nestled in the snow, saw only whiteness. The muffled sound of the truck reminded her of the ship's engine, and she dreamed she was on the sea again, on her way to America. The truck dumped all the snow on top of a big pile outside of town. That evening, the shopkeeper discovered that the littlest Matryoshka was missing. He looked everywhere but couldn't find her. So he put Nadia inside Vanda, and Vanda inside Varka, and Varka inside Olga, and Olga inside Anna. And he put the Matryoshka on the sale table. The next day, a little girl named Jessie came to the toy shop with the money her grandfather had sent her for her birthday. She had seen the Matryoshkas on display in the store weeks before and longed for one. But now she found out they were all too expensive. She was just turning away when the shopkeeper pointed out Anna. "The littlest doll is missing," said the shopkeeper, "so I'll let you have that Matryoshka for half price." Jessie had just enough money to buy the Matryoshka. When she got home, she set the dolls along her dresser in a line from biggest to littlest. At night, she put a little ball of cotton inside Nadia so she wouldn't feel empty inside. Then she put Nadia inside Vanda, and Vanda inside Varka, and Varka inside Olga, and Olga inside Anna. And she set Anna by the window so she could look out at the moonlit snowy fields and the star-filled sky. Anna kept her shining eyes wide open, watching for Nina and remembering Nikolai's soft voice. "Keep your sisters safe inside you." Nina spent the night in the snow pile. In the quiet of early morning, spring took the place of winter. The sun came out and the great thaw began. The snow above Nina started melting, and soon she could see sunlight making its way through the icy crystals. By the next afternoon, all the snow around Nina had melted away. For a while, she lay in a little puddle in a pocket of snow. When that melted, she was carried along in a rivulet of melted snow down the hillside to a stream. Nina rolled and tumbled along in the current. She had glimpses of the sky, and glimpses of the sandy bottom, and glimpses of the rocks she whooshed past. A roar in the distance got louder and louder. It wasn't a truck or the engine of a ship. It was a waterfall. Suddenly, Nina was caught in a rush of water, and then she flew off into space and came down in foaming surf. She was pounded deep in the water, but popped up and was carried off downstream once again. The stream widened and branched in two. Nina traveled up one fork to an inlet. She floated gently along in the slow current. A great blue heron, back from the south, now that the ice had melted, was hunting in the shallows. He spotted Nina and snapped her up. When he discovered she wasn't anything to eat, he flicked her away. She landed in a cluster of oak leaves on the shore. It was good to be on land again, and Nina was happy that she had come to the rest face up so she could watch the darkening sky and the arrival of the moon and stars. She thought about Nadia and Vanda and Varka and Olga and Anna. The face in the moon reminded her of Anna's face, round and wise, and she felt comforted. In the morning, a squirrel came foraging among the leaves. He mistook her for a nut, snatched her up, and dashed off with her to the nest in the eaves of an attic. When he saw that she was only a piece of wood, he shoved her out of the nest, and she fell to the roof of the porch below. She rolled down the slope of the roof into the rain gutter and then tumbled down the copper drain pipe. A cat, dozing in a patch of sunlight at the corner of the porch, was startled by the sound. He opened his eyes just as Nina rolled out of the end of the drain pipe. He pounced at her, and when Nina rolled away, he pounced again. A little girl was just coming out of the house. Her eye was caught by the red of Nina's dress. "What have you got there?" she asked the cat as she bent down to look. She picked up the littlest Matryoshka. "Oh, you found us!" she cried, for the little girl was Jessie. She ran upstairs to her bedroom. She wiped Nina carefully with a handkerchief and placed her in a circle with her sisters so Nina could see them all and they could all see her. How they rejoiced to be together again. That night, Jessie removed the cotton ball from Nadia. She put Nina inside Nadia, and Nadia inside Vanda, and Vanda inside Varka, and Varka inside Olga, and Olga inside Anna. "Now your sisters are safe inside you," Jessie said, and she kissed Anna on her forehead. Anna smiled the smile that had been painted on her by Nikolai the doll maker in Russia so long ago. The end. Wow, that was really an exciting story, wasn't it? Nina certainly had a big adventure, and I was so glad to see there was a happy ending and she ended up back with her sisters again. Weren't you? Oh, I wanted to show you the doll that I have in my home. This is one that my children played with when they were young. And much like the book, if you open her up, you'll discover that there are 6 dolls in this set too. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Can you see her? That's our littlest Matryoshka. And in the book, she was named Nina. Do you remember that? So this is our Nina. And our Nina had a big adventure once at our house, too. For several weeks, she was missing. And me and the kids, we looked everywhere, and we could not find her. And we were so sad. We started to think we may have accidentally vacuumed her up. Just when we were about to give up hope, my son found her, sitting there on the train table on a train. And then he remembered that a few weeks back, he had used her as one of his passengers on his little train set, and he had forgotten. So there she was, riding for weeks on end, having an adventure all by herself. So once we found her, we put her back with her sisters, just like in the book. And all these years later, this is like 20 years later, they're still together. So that's a happy ending too. And that's the fun thing about these dolls is you can make up little stories and have adventures with them. And what is fun too is even if you don't have your own doll set, you can make one. And you might even have the things in your home. Ask a big person in your home if they can help you find some cups that nest inside each other, like how these nest inside. I found some cups around the library that nest inside each other. Let me show you what I mean. So this is our biggest one, and then this is a littler one, and this one's littler, and this one's littler, and here's our littlest Matryoshka, and this is the littlest then. And you can find some markers and make some faces on your doll, and you could find some yarn and glue that as hair, or use some cloth to make a little hat for them, or babushka, as they say in Russian. Speaking of that, that is the word when you hear me say matryoshka. That is a word from Russia, and it means little matron or little mother. And so that's the story of the littlest matryoshka. You can have adventures, but another fun thing you can do is you can play games of memory with them. You can find a little object, like I found this cute little pink alien fuzzball, and you can hide it and then play a game of memory with someone. Mix up the cups after they've looked at you, and then you can say, hey, do you remember where our little creature is hidden? Were you watching me when I mixed them up? Do you remember what color the creature was? Well, and then you can be like, is it in this one? Do you think it is? Nope. What about this one? Is it there? Let's look. Nope. What about here in our littlest one? Nope. How about this one? Do you think so? Nope. How about in here? Yep, it is in there, and it was a pink little fuzzy alien dude. Did you remember that? So those are the kinds of fun games you can have. You can find something that would fit inside some of these and mix them up and play games of memory. It's really good for people of all ages to do that. So those are just some of the fun things you can do with your doll set, and I hope you had fun reading this story today, and maybe you can find some cups and play some adventure games along too today. All right, we'll see you soon. Goodbye.